This ain't a team that's having fistfights on the sidelines. This ain't some clown show organization or something else, okay? You talk about the foundation built. Some of the things that the toughest thing to change in a team, the toughest thing to change in a club is the way people think. If we don't play well, every fan has a right to boo my stadium. You got that? That don't bother me.
When I walk off the field after the last game, whenever that is, I want to feel like, do we have a chance to win a Super Bowl with this group? Does this group give us a chance to win the Super Bowl? Are we moving in that direction?
But in terms of the next step to take, I can tell you right now, okay? I know we're a whole lot closer to where we're going than we are further away. I can tell you that right now.
Many a Giants fan would say, yes, we are a lot closer right now than we were because we have excised from the organization Dave Gettleman and Joe Judge. Good morning. The news broke late yesterday afternoon, actually during PFT PM. We had to scrap the outline.
Whoa.
We always appreciate when these things happen during one of our shows. It's exciting, but it also gives us a chance to react to it in real time instead of having to reconvene, put the bat signal out, get everybody back together again like we had to do on Monday. You weren't here on Monday. Miles Simmons and I had to scramble because 3 coaches got fired after the show was over.
Yeah,
so anybody out there
right,
thinking about firing your coach this morning, please do it before 9 a.m. Eastern.
yeah, make it convenient for Florio.
That's right. Do it by 8:45 to give us 15 minutes to talk about it so we don't have to get back together. Hey, I'm thinking of you, Chris. You don't want to come back. You don't want to deal with me for more than 2 hours. You don't want to deal with me for more than 2 minutes.
You're right. I don't. But it's the price of the job. I could deal with it if we got to do it. It's okay. I'll be here in the building all day anyways. But like, so what? So when it went down yesterday, PFT PM, you were with Shireen, obviously, right? Like what?
Miles.
Oh, it was Miles.
Shireen.
Sorry, yeah,
Shireen. No,
yesterday.
Shireen. It's Miles today.
Okay,
it's Miles today. Shireen.
What was the initial reaction once you heard the news come down? Because first off, it was a little weird or different that it was 48 hours, 2 days later after the NFL season's over. That made it a little different than all the other ones. But what was your reaction?
Well, what struck me after we talked it through for a few minutes, it reminded me of situations during games where they're doing a replay review and it's taking forever. And at some point, somebody realizes if it's taking this long, maybe we already know the answer
right.
to the question. And I felt like that's what was happening with the Giants. It was taking so long for them to find a way to yes. They eventually decided, no, we're not going to continue with Joe Judge. I believe they wanted to keep Joe Judge. I believe that at a minimum, they wanted to let the next GM figure out what to do with Joe Judge. The more cynical view was they were going to handpick a GM who would have said, oh, Joe Judge, yes, oh, I'm all in with Joe Judge. And I think that whatever misfired in his brain that caused him to go on that 11-minute rant
right
10 days ago.
Yep.
And then just kind of continued. Like, sometimes you put people under extreme stress and pressure and they crumble. Sometimes you put them under extreme stress and pressure and they flourish and they thrive. And, this is one of the reasons that I think nobody fired their coach with the 2-week head start to interview assistants from other teams. You get coaches performing under extreme pressure and stress, you're going to have some stuff bubble up that's either going to be good or it's going to be bad. And for Judge, what bubbled up was very bad.
Yeah.
What bubbled up, people are joking, oh, he was trying to get fired. Well, there are other ways to try to get fired without painting yourself as a clown, as a buffoon, as somebody who is now unemployable going forward. He is far closer to Ben McAdoo than Brian Flores from the standpoint of Joe Judge getting hired by somebody else to be a head coach. There's going to be a lot of reclamation that has to be done to get Joe Judge a second shot. Some guys get a second shot, some guys don't. He exits the Giants, Chris, in my mind, in the some guys don't category, largely because of what happened over the course of the last week and a half.
I don't disagree with that. It'll take a lot of repairing, as far as just his image and going back to the drawing board and how he's viewed and the perception by the public, the NFL, owners, coaches. You're right. I don't think it'll be a long time before we ever hear his name, if ever, as far as head coaching conversation. I'm with you there. Hey, there's mistakes. The stack was stacked. The stack was the deck was stacked
decked against him.
Yeah, that's what I was
Go
about
ahead and say it. The stack was decked against him.
That's
yes,
bad. You don't want that, right? The deck was stacked against him in a lot of ways. We know that, But I think the point, and to what you said, there's three things I think that really jump out to me about where, things went wrong for Joe Judge. First off, hey, you could sit there and go, the first thing that jumps out to me would be the coaching staff a little bit. Jason Garrett, everybody basically on everything about the Giants coaching staff other than, maybe Patrick Graham, the defensive coordinator. But that certainly was an issue, let alone that, and then that led to, lackluster results on the football field. I don't think that helped his perception, in the New York tri-state area with Giant fans, certainly. But I think even with the deck stacked against him, I do think when we were coming down the home stretch here, Thanksgiving weekend, early December, I know there was reports, a few weeks ago, Joe Judge, it looks like he'll be back as a Giants head coach.
No.
Right.
No, not even that. It was stronger than that. Shefty says he's back.
Right.
Shefty says he's back. At Old Takes Exposed, Shefty said he was back.
Yeah, no, and listen, I feel a few other people did too. But I believe them. I believe at that point that all signs and all things were going in that direction. And then came the day that you're talking about. To me, that's where it all flipped. You're right. Backed into a corner, people questioning, ugly loss, all of a sudden feeling a little insecure, and the 11-minute rant started the downfall of the Joe Judge era here, and it was a quick downfall. So you have that the deck stacked against him going into that. Now an 11-minute rant that, like you said, everybody here in this area, it's a clown show. It's a clown show. That's what anybody could say. He has that. And then go on the field and have more lackluster performances by the football team where it's not even competitive. And then to me, the final dagger, and I think we talked about this a little bit, is the QB sneak last week. Again, perception is reality, and the optics of all of that, the 11-minute rant, 3rd and 9, we're not like on the 1-yard line. We're on the 4. And we're an NFL professional football team, and we're going to run the quarterback sneak on 3rd and 9. Listen, even if it did work out, it's one of those where you got to realize as a head coach, wait, can I really do this, or am I giving the fan base, owners, everything another jump-off spot about this is how crappy things here are with the Giants. We can't even drop back to throw the ball or run a draw on 3rd and 9. We're just going to run a quarterback sneak. To me, the last two things were the downfall or the demise of Joe Judge for sure. Put the nail in the coffin where, there might have been thoughts about putting him in the coffin before that. That finally did it.
Here's what John Mara, co-owner of the New York Giants, had to say yesterday. Steve Tisch, the other co-owner of the team, and I both believe it's in the best interest of our franchise to move in another direction. We met with Joe yesterday afternoon to discuss the state of the team. I met again with Joe this afternoon, and it was during that conversation I informed Joe of our decision. We appreciate Joe's efforts on behalf of the organization. I said before the season started I wanted to feel good about the direction we were headed when we played our last game of the season. Unfortunately, I cannot make that statement, which is why we have made this decision. We will hire a general manager, and that person will lead the effort to hire a new head coach. Why did it take 2 days? I think they were scrambling, searching, groping for a reason to keep Joe Judge or a plan that would have allowed them to hire a GM who would keep Joe Judge. I think that was the plan all along, but they realized it was untenable, and it may have been impossible to hire a general manager who was going to walk through the door and say, yeah, let's keep Joe Judge, and I look like an idiot on my way through the door for being the one to say thumbs up to Joe Judge.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.